Welcome to the Wildcat Alley. Today, we're live here at Rafferty Studios. But yeah, I'm your host, Joseph Decker. Today, we have three fine guests that'll be joining us later on into the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight to this. It wasn't really a rush show. I posted about it yesterday, getting ready into this, and we've got a lot of support. A lot of people already tuning in as we speak, so I want to thank everyone for that. Um, I'll give a little rundown on the guys we got today. We have two of the best players who was on that 2022-2023 district team. And then we have the head coach, as many know around here in Edmonson County, as Coach Brad Johnson, one of the best to ever do it. Um, I want to go ahead and run down our great sponsors real quick. We couldn't do it without them. Go ahead and start with Rafferty's Restaurant and Bar. That's our guy, Scott Lindsay. Thank you for everything you do for us in the show and outside of the show. Next is JWill Funeral Home, dedicated to those we serve is their slogan. Their phone number, P.O. Box is listed on the image below. That is Roy Grable and his funeral home here in Brownsville. Next up is CNA Plumbing. That is Craig and Adam. Adam is one of my closest friends. Adam has done so much for this show already, and I'm sure he's going to do even more in the future. I can't thank him enough for what he's done. Next up is MPDT. That is Jessica Hines. She is genuinely one of the best in the business. She just did new merch for our football team. She does merch for me. She does so much. She's our show sponsor. She's our girl. She does everything for us. And then Lake Forest Recruiting and Braden's Blessings. Braden's Blessings is a charity for Braden Combs, who tragically lost his life in 2019 due to a car accident. He died to a drunk driver. They have done a phenomenal job with that charity. That's Allison and Jay Holland. They do everything. They just got done donating so much clothing and attire for prom that's coming up soon in about a week here in Edmonson County. So thank you guys for always being here for us. We have Laser It, which is Caleb Skaggs. He's starting a new brand where he really can put a laser. He can design anything. He really can. I want to shout him out here. He made this new light for us, the Wildcat Alley. He made the wooden graphic design for us, and he made a hat for us that it appears that I don't have on me right now. And then last but not certainly least is Kevin Alexander, County Clerk, the man, the myth. Thank you, Kevin, for all you've done. So that's our sponsors here today. Want to go ahead and point out in the black right here above the God bless and the cross, that is our socials for you guys to follow us. If you want to follow me, it's Joseph Decker 23 on Twitter. I am Joseph Decker on Instagram, but you can find us at the Wildcat Alley on everything. So once again, we have three guests today: Braxton Highball, Braden Wall, and Coach Johnson. Braxton's joining us at his college in Kishwaukee that is located in Illinois. And we're going to go ahead and start with him. We're going to get him in here. I want to say this too. I'm going to be very interactive with the chat tonight. So if you guys want to ask questions, come on by in the chat and say stuff. We have lists of questions wrote up. They even have questions for their old former coach. So if you guys want to say something, just put it in the chat. I'll read it off. I'll ask the guys it. Let's have fun this episode. Let's get a lot of people in here and let's do our thing. I'm now going to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Braxton Highball. Braxton, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So Braxton is, like I said, located right now in Kishwaukee College up in Illinois. So Braxton, let's go ahead. Talk to me a little about Kishwaukee and the college.
So the college, it's a JUCO college, and really it's so nice. Like even on my first visit, JUCO gets a rep of it might not be as nice as like 4-year schools, but it is it surprised me. Like it really opened my eyes. It's just a really good college.
Branching off what you just said, talk to us a little bit about JUCO because that's a name that's rising a lot more. A lot of people are picking JUCO, even over division schools.
Yeah, JUCO is something that really I realized is it's a good choice because you can go JUCO for a year, 2 years, and then you go wherever you want to go after that. Just try to, excuse me, you can go off that and then go to your 4 year and possibly go better than what you did before.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the question. You guys had a good season there at Kishwaukee. Talk a little bit about your recent season, postseason, regular season, some of your best games. Just talk to me about the season.
So we started off really slow. I think 1-6, and then we just started clicking and started really playing as a team, to be honest. And we ended up 17-14. We did end up losing first round in the region tournament, but it was a tough game. We played Morton, and they're really talented. They're really good, and really, I think one of my better games was versus MATC. That was a game. It was a great atmosphere, and then I love playing in big atmospheres. Like it's just there's nothing that tops that for me, and I think that's when I play my best is just a big atmosphere like that.
So, speaking about postseason, you talk about regions. How is the postseason at like a JUCO school or an NAIA, et cetera? How is it kind of similar to the high school layout for the postseason?
It's similar in so you play to win region you play 3 games, and then if you win region you go to nationals, which would basically be like state for Kentucky. And the one difference is our region branched off into 2 different like sections,
Mhm,
and the winner of both of the region sections, both of them go to nationals.
mhm. All right, so Braxton, I wrote down some stats for this season for Braxton. Braxton, 31 games, you started in 23 of them. You averaged just about 6 points a game on 40% shooting and 34% from the arc. Paired that with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. You had 8 games where you scored over double digits, and your career high was in 2 games. You had 13 in both of those games. Tell me how the competition is different at the JUCO level and the college level from the high school. We always hear these guys talk about how big of a step up it is, but you've got to experience. So tell us a little bit about the intensity, how everything kind of changes when you get to that level.
Yeah, it's definitely way different. Like you have because in high school, like I think the biggest person we faced was probably around 6'8",
Yeah,
and then that's like a in high school that's a dominant force down low.
yeah,
And then you go to JUCO, and then or really anywhere in college, like it doesn't really matter, but it's just everything's so much more physical, like physical, faster, fast paced.
mhm,
Then you got like you might drive by your man, and then you're meeting a 7-footer down low, and it's just
yeah.
like it's so much different, like everything.
So I know it's hard because you played so many different guys, so many different teams this year. But is there anybody off the top of your head that you can remember? Having a game plan. I think I actually asked you this when I got to see you last time. Who's the best guy that you like played against or got to go up against?
Um, this dude for South Suburban, I
Mhm.
can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he averaged like 35 points on 50-40,
Yeah,
and then I think it was like high percentage from the free throw line too. And we played them, and then it's one of those things. It's like you can throw different looks at him, but like he just adjusts to everything. He was really good.
yeah. So this is a big one, and this isn't just relating to athletics, but this is relating to in general. What has college been like? From the academic standpoint. From we done talked a little bit about basketball.
Um, College, it's really the toughest part about it isn't even like really the schoolwork.
Mhm.
It's more of just time management. Like you have so much freedom in college. Like no one's making you wake up and go to that class or like forcing you to do anything. Like it's all about like yourself. Like you have to be motivated to go do this class and then do the homework after and then be ready for practice. So it's really just like the biggest difference is there's no one that's telling you to do anything.
Yeah,
Like that's just probably the biggest difference from high school to college.
yeah. So I'll ask you this. So you didn't just have offers from Kishwaukee. There was multiple schools reaching out to you. Um,
Yeah.
tell us about a few of those schools because some of us, like me, I know about a few of them, but I don't know every college that kind of reached out to you. And there's a lot of people who actually wanted me to ask you that because they wanted to know.
Yeah, there was a Christian school in Kansas. That was my second choice.
Mhm.
They were the coach, he was the first coach to really come in contact with me. He did at the end of my junior year. And my junior stats, they were all right, but like, like they were nowhere near what I wanted them to be.
Mhm.
But and that he's a really good dude. And that was a school that was like really weighing on my mind to go to. And then there was also a JUCO in North Dakota. They that was an option that I really like. thought about.
Yeah. So I know you don't regret your choice of going to Kishwaukee, but tell me what was it that really pushed Kishwaukee over the other schools and made you pick them?
The biggest thing is just like in school, especially, like it's just like a tight knit community. So it kind of reminded me of home. And when you can feel like a sense of being at home somewhere else, like it really weighed on me.
Yeah,
So that was like it really pushed it over the edge. And there's really great players here to play along with, like,
yeah.
so that really helped.
Well, I know that's one thing that it feels like almost every recruiter commit talks about is going to the spot that you kind of get that family atmosphere from. So I'll ask this: I know you've had some visits, coming back home, on breaks, etc. But what do you miss the most about being in Edmonson County and being at home?
The biggest thing is just family. Like that's definitely the biggest thing, because when you're around your family 24/7, like
Yeah,
you might not think about it as much, but when you're off on your own, it's
mhm,
like, man, I'd do anything to see my parents, my grandparents, brothers. Like that's definitely the thing I miss the most.
So your dad actually commented. I'm pretty sure he was referring to whenever we were talking about the best guy you have played against, but he
Yeah,
listed the name JWill. Do you know if that is that it?
yeah,
Okay.
that's the dude.
Okay, perfect. Well, Braxton, I'm one to always appreciate a whole team as a whole, and we're here to talk about you, obviously, today. But Kishwaukee,
Hmm.
you guys had a really good squad.
Hmm.
Tell us about some of the guys you got to play with, some of the buttons you made, what they've done for you.
Oh yeah, so players on my team, we have Josh, who was Conference Player of the Year. He averaged 22 and 10. Then you got Jalen. I mean, just he's a bucket getter. Like, if
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I need a bucket, it's I'm gonna pass this ball to Jalen. I know he's gonna go get one for me.
yeah,
And then Don, he's just uh, he's just so athletic. Like he like someone might get past him, and you're like, nah, they're finna get this layup, but he's gonna pin it almost at the top of the backboard. Like
yeah,
it's just insane. And then we got Amon and Braden. They're just shut down. Like I'll pick you up 94 feet, and then you're gonna have to pass it at half court. Like just shut down defenders. And then we have great, great pieces like my roommate Caden
mhm,
and Riley. Riley, he ran the four towards the end of the year, knockdown shooter. Caden, he's a definition of like 3 and D wing or
mhm,
guard. He's really good. And then another dude was Cooper. He came in and he played solid. Like he's a solid big. So it was just, and then even just in practice, like me and Traven, we always went at each other in practice,
yeah.
whether it was like little arguments or something like that. But it's just competitiveness, to be honest. Like just something that we can't get out of our nature.
Yeah. So this is something I'm wondering because a lot of times when you go up in those levels, you play with different teams. First off, shout out to our guy Ronald Scott Lindsay, our judge executive. I think you can see that popped up on the screen.
Mm.
Proud of you. Thank you, Scott, for tuning in. And we're already up to we had at one point 100 people in here now. So the Emmons County community is coming together, and even people you brought with you to watch this tonight. Thank you. But I'll ask you this, and then we'll bring some of the other guys in. Um, what have you had to do at the college level to change your game? Not just like have you had to take a different role? Have you had to become more of a different type of player? Because at EC, you were running a lot of point guard, the main ball
Mhm.
handler. What have you had to adjust and what have you had to change to fit a role at Kishwaukee?
Real fast, I was gonna say, thank you, Ronald. That means a lot to me. But one thing that really I had to adjust to is just not being the ball handler all the time, because that's something like in high school, like we had great guards like that could handle the ball, but it was just different in college because it's like they're I don't I'm it's hard to describe, but like just trusting more, and then just knowing that they're going to go get these buckets. And then one thing that really changed is just like passing lanes, they always shrink. Like I might think I can get this through turnover, and that's something I had to adjust to fast. And that's probably the biggest thing.
It's
and then just
honestly probably
wait.
big for you too, and like a relief, being able to count on these guys, because you think about
Yeah,
it, all you guys are elite athletes, elite players. You guys all made it to this level. So a lot of guys in the same skill level, you put them all on a team, and you can count and rely on so many other guys.
yeah, and weights. That's another thing. Is everyone strong? There's not really any bully ball unless you're just overly strong.
I would assume it would be very physical,
Yeah.
constantly having to deal with presses, the man on man strong. Um, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tilt this into a different range. We're gonna bring in our guy Braden Wall, who's looking good over here in the corner. So here's our guy Braden. Braden,
What's up?
can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So Braden is the man, the myth, the legend. He considers himself the world's sexiest man, and he didn't go on to play college basketball like Braxton, but he thinks he will be the next Masters winner. He puts a lot of work in on the green, and he's a phenomenal golfer. And next in, we're going to welcome the man. He needs no introduction. He's been on here before. He's one of the best coaches I've ever been able to be around. I got to play for him. Might have just been little league, but still got to play for him. I've seen this done at other schools. Let's welcome in the man, Brad Johnson. What's up, Brad? Can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So, Braden, how you been, man?
Oh, just chilling and working, man, and golfing as much as possible.
Brad, how about yourself? Are you enjoying retirement?
I'm enjoying it. I really am. I sleep better than I've ever slept in my life, and I'm off my blood pressure medicine and all that stuff, so I'm good.
Brad, I take quite a few of those coaching Braxton.
No, coaching you.
Brad, so you're heavily involved with golf, and you got to probably see Braden play a few times.
I'm
His
terrible.
his goals of being in the majors for golf and constantly on the green. What would you rate his skill level?
Well, he picked it up late in life, and he's probably one of those guys 4 or 5 years ago that made fun of people that play golf, but he's kind of come around to love it himself. And when you're athletic and have hand-eye coordination, and Braden, I've known Braden since he was young, little, and he's good at all sports. And when you have hand-eye coordination, if he commits to it and keeps working at it, he's going to be a golfer. That's for sure. He did live on the Nolian Dam Road and came to Shady Hollow a lot, and he's kind of moved away, so I don't see him as much. But he'll be a player if he keeps at it. He's not ready to take on the big dog yet, though.
No, I'm not. I'm not ready for that.
Oh, all right. So the thing we have, you guys, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about a little bit of everything. Once again, like I said, the chat's open to anybody if you want to talk to these guys as well. But we're going to be talking about that 2022-2023 district championship team that went on to play at Region. Unfortunately, there wasn't really a show or a podcast that could cover you all, get you all in at the same time. But I got to be around and involved with that team. I got to be in the environment, and that's a team that deserves to have a show. Someone talk to these guys. So I wanted to do it today. We're reminiscing a little bit, not too long in the past, but we ended up going that season. We finished 18-13 in the regular season. We went 9-9 in region, and we really dominated the. We went 9-9 in region, and we really dominated the district going 6-2. So, Coach Brad, as the coach, I want to ask you this: what really separated that team from any other team you've really ever coached in your career?
Oh gosh. Well, good passers, good passers. I've always believed in kind of running a motion type offense where you read the defense and you kind of go where you're open and share it, and you go where the defense is not. And that team was really good at it. I mean, a lot of teams have a center that the ball kind of dies with them and they can't really pass and all that. So we kind of did 5-out stuff. And if we had a 5, Braden was kind of it, but he was really more of a kind of a 3 type. But he was strong enough to guard inside people, but still step out and pass it. And we ran our offense through him a lot. So it was fun. It was fun. We worked at it every day. We didn't learn a lot of plays. We tried to learn how to play. And I enjoy going to practice. I guess what sticks with me is I enjoy going to practice every day. The kids got after each other and had fun. And sometimes I wanted to put my hands over my ears of what I was going to hear in the dressing room on the way out the door. But they had a good time, to say the least.
Braxton, you came here your junior year to play, and you played your junior and senior season. What was really different for you in that senior season from the junior season?
um, really just I was more comfortable because junior year, I came in not really knowing what to expect. I thought that it was going to be different than what it was, like, but it was better. It was way better than what I thought, and just not knowing junior year, not knowing like what my role was going to be coming in. So I didn't really know like what to focus on and stuff like that. But then senior year, it's more of like I'm going to work on everything and try to be the best player I can be overall.
So this goes to you and Braden because I was looking at statistics, things like that. But there's a lot more to basketball than just statistics. It's more than just a box score game. This is for Braxton and Braden. What do you guys think? Because you guys played the junior season together. What was the biggest leap or something that you improved in your senior season, going into the senior season, that off season for the junior season? What do you think you improved in the most?
I think bonds, like becoming close with people. Like me and Braxton hung out like every day. We would like me, Braxton, and Tyler hung out a lot too. And then like we were all just so close. We all had a bunch of classes together and just worked out together and stuff, and had weightlifting and PE classes, and just pushed each other to be better every day.
Yeah, I would definitely say the weight room definitely changed us. That's something Coach Johnson always emphasized. And
Yes.
really, I think one of the biggest things going from junior to senior year was just confidence in ourselves and each other. Just in general, I think confidence took us a long way.
I got something to add to that. So Braxton, when he first came, he was virtual, and um, I would meet him at 2:45 in his pajama pants coming into practice, and it's like nobody really knew him that well. This is his junior year, and so I was like, Braxton, I wish you'd come to school and kind of be part of the school community and have lunch with the guys and all that. And I talked to his dad about it, and they were like, he's just shy. And I'm going, Braxton is shy because he wasn't shy at practice. And funny thing is, his senior year, he had a great time at school and really fit in. And he was the most not shy person ever for a person to start off as being shy. So I like they said with bonding and that. So it was good. It came together and made some memories there.
Yes.
Yeah, once again, like I said, if you guys have any opportunity, you want to chime in and comment on something, it's all game. So something I want to speak on is you see the images all the time. There's the one of Will Alexander cutting down the net. How does it feel to have the whole community? It felt like everybody in Evanston County at those district games, at the championship game, etc. Ronald talking about just thinking about this team right now. He said, I feel like I should begin playing Inner Sandman and kick off the starting lineup. We really had it felt like everybody in the county, at those games rooting for us. This is one that I want all y'all to answer. How does it feel to have a community like this backing you guys during that season?
Well, I mean, for me, a situation like, and Butler County has such a great team. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, and at Will's signing, the last team in the third region to beat Butler County was Owensboro in the region last year. And the last team before that to beat Butler County was Evans County in that game. And, but I was so happy, but I just wanted to watch everybody else. The students were going nuts and the cheerleaders were going nuts. And, everybody just loved each other and had so much fun that night. And, heck, I wanted to celebrate myself, but I really just wanted to watch everybody else celebrate because everybody was just so happy.
You go ahead, Braden.
I agree with Coach. Like, it was just great to have everybody there supporting us, knowing that if we had that many people there, we could come out and pull it off and stuff. I feel like having that many people just hyped us up a little more.
Yeah, and I would also say just you get caught in the moment, but then you take a second to look back and look at everyone else cheering. It's just like it's such a surreal moment, and I think that's another difference between college and high school is like high school, everyone was there, and like that's something that you can't get those memories back, and it's just something I'm gonna remember forever.
So let's talk about this a little bit. He wanted me to mention him a little bit. I wanted to shout him out as well. Let's go back a little bit into that Butler County game. Let's talk about the performance Will Alexander had. That's the one that everyone really loves to talk about. I was talking to Braxton a little bit about it beforehand. Talk about that game Will had, man, because he really felt unstoppable in a sense.
Yeah, seemed like he made every shot he took that game. Like,
Yes.
I'm gonna just get the ball to Will and I'm gonna let him be great. Like,
Some big time shots.
for real.
Well, the game plan and it was a really weird game. I told their coach afterward and whoever else would listen. I thought both teams played great.
Yeah.
Butler County played great. I thought we might have been the two best teams in the region that night.
Yeah.
And I thought we played good defense. And if you had told me that we played good defense and a team made 15 threes, they made 15 threes. And if you watch the film, most of them we were hanging all over them, and 4 or 5 different guys. So we were different. They kind of played sped up and shot it quick, but we wanted to wait and shoot when we were open, and that's where our good passing came in to play there. And Braxton made plays, and Braden made plays, and everybody. And Will kind of the beneficiary. If somebody plays aggressive, tries to trap you, somebody's got to be open. So make the right pass, hit the middle or hit the sideline, and big players come up in big games, and he certainly did that. And the great thing is it's online and saved. And heck, I've probably watched it 50 times and may watch it again tonight.
Kind of branching off that, you talked about Will, kind of coming off like he was able to be a guy for y'all. Brad, you had really a stacked team. You guys had so many guys who could get you a bucket, could score for you. I was looking, I know at least over 8 games where somebody else led in scoring. There was games where shout out Xander Bass would lead the game. Tyler Anderson would lead in scoring. These two guys, Caden Mills had some great games. Talk about the luxury of having a team that anyone on that team could go out and lead the game in scoring and affect it.
Well, you have to be unselfish, and I never really felt with that team that these guys were worried about their numbers, and I know Braden and Braxton, they were probably neck and neck as far as who was scoring the more points, the best point average. But I never got the impression they were worried about that, And when you get parents going to the internet, and social media and saying my kid scored, you can't. If you have 0 points at the end of the first quarter and the team's winning, that's all that matters. If a team focuses on you defensively, then you got to pass it. And they were such willing passers, and I just felt like we had some big wins. And the record wasn't an outstanding record, but we played everybody. That year Muhlenberg was the defending regional champion the year before, and we got on the bus and went and played them there and beat them. And beat Central Hardin at Central Hardin. We could have padded the schedule and kind of loaded up and had a better record, but we just kind of took on all comers and played whoever wanted to play. And but it really gives me a good feeling, the unselfishness that we had. I never got the feeling that anybody cared who scored the points.
You talked about the schedule, which, you guys played a really good team. Y'all ended up playing. Y'all went to the Owensboro tournament, played at the Sports Center. You guys played in the Caveland. I asked Braxton and Braden this before the show because I wanted to see if their answer was similar to yours. They said, I asked, who was the best team you guys think y'all played last year? Y'all played Wildcat. Y'all played that Butler squad. But both of them actually said Taylor County. They thought that was the best team that you guys matched up against. Brad, what do you think about that?
Really, really good. And I don't think we were full strength that game. I think maybe Tyler Anderson was out that game. And we played Owensboro Catholic twice that year, and once was without Braden, and the other one was out. We never played Owensboro Catholic full strength. And I talked to Coach Raleigh about that. I said, man, I would love to have played you full strength this year. And he said, yeah, I know. He said, I know how good you guys were. But Taylor County was solid. They were a threat to win the fifth, and just solid 1 through 5, and well coached and all that. And we took them right down to the wire and did get that win. But I would not argue with that they were the best team we played.
Yeah. And Braxton and Braden were talking about, they were young, but they played so good together. And I think that's what really made them choose that. Thank you, Robin Litch, for tuning in. She said, I loved watching them boys played and watching Coach Brad lead them. And the man, the myth, Trey Tinsley, talking about, he said it was a really fun year to be around. You guys, let's talk a little bit about Coach Trey Tinsley. He's the new head coach for the Evans County Wildcats, just coming off his recent year. Talk about Trey Tinsley, how big of an impact he was to you guys on the team last year, and what you've seen in him as an assistant coach, Brad, and what you guys seen as him.
Well, me first. So I've known John Tinsley for years and years, and he He was at Barron County the same time as I was, and then the first time that I coached Evans County, I coached against him, and we went at it tooth and nail, and really went at each other in games, but always remained great friends. We're Reds fans. We text about the Cincinnati Reds every night and been to games together and all that. And then I had Trey and Ryan Tinsley in class together when I was at Grayson County coaching girls, and just knew his background, his family background, and heck, he was he was wanting or needing a coaching job, and he married Emmons County girl living in Cleveland, and a girl that wants to live in Evans County, and he wants to live in Evans County. So I reached out to him, and he came and joined us, kind of coached the defense, did a lot of defensive calls and all that stuff. So fit right in with the guys. He did a great job of being Ty Price in practice and jacking up some shots from about 30 feet and making a lot of them. So good scout team player and great friend of mine.
Yeah, I would definitely say the defense, like he would help us see like which defenses we needed to run, and it was always spot on. Like whatever he said, that's when we ran it, that's exactly how it was. And then I don't remember a time it failed. I remember it working every time. So, and then that practice that he was top price, I remember, I forgot who was playing the top. I think it was Tyler. I'm like, man, Tyler, you don't leave him. Like he's making everything right now.
Yeah, so I think it was just good to have a younger coach he fit in well with the players. He understood like everything, got a good connection with them and stuff because he was so young. And like Braxton said, with the defense, I felt like everything worked with him. Whatever he drew up, just felt like it worked. And all around a great guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's not forget Jody Booth also was an assistant coach on that team. Now coaching our Lady Cats, coming off a great season there. Brad, how does it feel to see two of your former assistant coaches, having this success, being head coaches now? And then I want you guys all to talk a little bit about Coach Booth and how he was as an assistant.
It's good, I'm getting to the age now that several guys that have coached with me and several players that have played for me are now coaching, and that makes you feel good. And Coach Booth had been on the previous staff with Coach Mack, and we coached together. And then from the very start, we kind of had the same philosophy. He has the same philosophy as I do as far as teaching kids how to play and going where you're open. Very fundamental coach. And I would give him the first 10 or 15 minutes of practice to just do skill work. Very, very great skill work, great fundamental coach. And I would say, coach, just take them, do what you think we need. And really solid with that. Very organized, scouting wise. When we played Grayson County, that was kind of his team, and he had them down to a science. When they made a call, he would tell our players what they were doing, where they were going with it. Great scouter and just a great coach. Watched almost every game online that they played last year and some in person, and just did a great job with the Lady Cats.
Yeah, I would definitely say the way that he scouted other teams, like it was like there was no surprises. Like anything that was on the scout or anything that happened in the game, it was on the scout. Like he always had that down pat, and then he always ran at the start of practice the ball handling drills, getting up and down. That way, like getting up and down, getting loose for the rest of practice. Like he always did a great job with that.
Yes, I agree. The scouting report was always good. He was he had a great basketball IQ, knew what was going on, and I played for him for like 3 years. Always had a good relationship with him. Still text him every once in a while. Just to love Coach Booth for real.
For real.
So, like I mentioned earlier, went through the schedule. Like you said, we had a hard schedule. We played a lot of great teams, but I wrote down some of the games. I talked to Braxton, Braden about this. Give me some of the games you guys thought was some of the hardest schedules, biggest games that meant a lot to them. And there's a few. There's some losses that were close, and I feel like we built off. They said, and then there were some wins. Talk about you guys played McLean County January 17th. The game went to double overtime, and you guys lost by 2 points. Tell me a little bit about that game. What you guys remember about it?
I took a charge.
Yeah,
The only charge all year.
we stole the ball late and we got hammered late a couple times. Now that I'm not coaching anymore, I can talk about officials. We got hammered a couple times late and got a kind of a tough whistle on the road there. A game we should have won, and they were good, man. They were good. Had post players that were good, an outstanding point guard, and playing on the road there with a nice crowd for them. And we played our butts off that night, and really one we would have liked to have had. And heck, I think they were ranked 2, 3, or 4 in the region all year. And that even though we lost, that's a game where I really came away saying, "Hey, we're pretty good here." You know, we got on the bus and went there and played them down the wire. Felt like we should have won. I think that was one of the nights where I said, "Hey, I think we have something here."
Yeah, that was that game was very, very up and down, and I remember it just seemed like we traded buckets the whole game. Like no one just took that big lead or had that run that put them over the top. Like it was up and down the whole game, and then I'm pretty sure we were up one, and then they hit this three at the end of the game, and then
Yes.
there wasn't much time left to do much of anything, so we just ended it like that.
I just remember their coach yelling countries as plays the whole game.
They had
Really?
47,000 plays.
Yeah, 47,000 plays, and he was very loud and obnoxious and annoying. I just remember that. That's how he always was.
Yeah, I just remember Braden's charge. That's really all I remember from that game.
I would too. That was a special moment in history.
I actually thought he was going to start taking charges after that, but I was wrong.
Only one. I still never got my $100, Coach. Where's it at?
It's in the mail.
I'll take it in the check, please.
Joseph, I'm sneaking a peek at Twitter here off to the side. Big shout out to Alex Jane Clemens and the Lady Cats. They just won at Grayson County 8-3. Big softball win today.
Yeah, big
Nice win.
Thank you for reporting that. Yeah, the Lady Cats and our Wildcats baseball team and softball teams are kind of getting on a roll right now.
Yeah.
The
at the
baseball
right
team 7-game win streak.
Heck yeah, playing Breck tomorrow, one of the biggest games of the year for them. So let me talk about this one. Braxton said it too. We played Grayson County really early in the year, December 9th, and we actually beat them away 47-39. Braxton said, getting that win, it gave us a lot of momentum going on forward for the rest of the season. Let's hear about that game.
That game, that was a very hostile environment, and it was one of those games that's just like you feel like you needed to win, and then no one really pulled away that game either. It was a close game throughout, and we just had a couple of plays where it just put us over the edge at the end, and that was a huge win and a huge gave us a lot of momentum after that.
Yes, the locker room was very, very hyped after.
Coach Johnson
Fun game.
Busted a couple dance moves.
He did. He broke down.
These guys were, and it's a big game for this community. So these guys, their junior and senior year, they were 4-1 against Grayson County and won 4 in a row. The first game their junior year, we played at home, and it was a humongous crowd, and we probably weren't ready for the moment. And Evan Stice got a really hard time about his haircut for that game, and we were a little overwhelmed by that. But then we came back, and Evan made a big shot over there to beat them at their place, and at their place is tough. I've never seen so much camouflage in all my life in one place, but it was good. It was great memories, man.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure, was it the junior year for Braden and Braxton was when we played Central Hardin and Brett Decker put up 40 points. Is that true?
That is true.
So you guys would play them the next year, which would be y'all senior season, which we're talking about, and would beat them 60-55. Coach, I ask you this, how did you game plan Brett, the player he is, going into that?
we were ready for that night because that was the one game from their junior year that we were embarrassed. I mean, we were run off the floor. And my gosh, they were pulling up from 30 feet, 25 feet, and just shooting it right in our face. And it was like, oh my gosh. And they were, I mean, they were a fifth region contender. They were really good. They were talented and big. And Brett Decker's D1 talent at guard. So they just smacked us that night. And the coach and I are good friends. He plays golf down at Shady Hollow some, and he said, "Coach, you want to play again next year?" And I said, "Heck yeah, we do." So we got on the bus and we played in an elementary school. I can't remember the name of it. It was about 100 degrees in that gym.
Ooh, it was hot.
JV didn't have a very good game. JV didn't play well that night, and I went in there and talked to the guys, and I said, "Let's hit them with our best punch." And we really played well that night, and we shared it, and so I think we played some kind of junk defense, kind of
Yep.
box and chase,
3-2.
3-2, and kind of tagged Decker wherever he went, and the guys did a great job. And heck, he didn't really know what to do, and we really, I've watched that game a few times. It was on The Voice, and a really great win. And another night where I said, heck, we could be really good, because the coach told me before that game, he said, I think we can win the fifth region. I think we're as good as anybody. And heck, we went in there and beat them. So really another one that we'll remember.
I think he
Yeah,
only ended the game with like 7 points that time,
Yeah.
Joseph.
Yep.
Yeah, that was another time that Coach Tinsley helped with the defense, like
Yes.
making sure you bump them and stuff like that. And that was really probably that game we really played as a team. Like I don't think anyone was just like everyone scored, and we played really aggressive and we played hard. Everyone was diving on balls. And then I remember they had a few people in the crowd talking stuff. So that's just great win when you get a win with people in the crowd that just talk all that.
I got a question for Coach Joseph, if that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead and give it to us.
Okay, Coach Johnson, when you were at Grayson County or Edmonson County, which one did you want to beat more? Like in the rivalry when you coached at both of them?
Well, I was a little bit, and I have great friends, had great friends at Grace County, still have great friends today, but I was always a little bit of an outsider there, and Bee Spring, I'm a Bee Spring guy, I'm Evans County, I'm here in the That's country of Evans County here in Bee Spring, and go to church here, and so yeah, I mean that was special to me. And my wife, lifelong Edmonson County, she is really in a good mood and really happy when Edmonson beats Grayson County, still to this day. So great friends there, but I'm 100% Edmonson County, and really I've pointed out a few times to people that I see, that we beat them four times in a row.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I think that's the tied for the longest streak ever for Emerson County.
Yes.
So that's something I definitely take pride in.
Brad, we were talking about Central. No, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay, well, we talked about Central as a team that we played, back-to-back years. Who's some teams that you kind of, we kind of had like a sneaky rivalry against that wasn't just a district opponent?
Todd County.
Wow. I mean, and what a good team they had. Their coach left. They had a little bit of a down year. So I was trying to schedule and get my feet wet these guys before their junior year. And their coach was a first year coach. Great coach. He's a coach at a big new school in Tennessee now. Great coach, very fundamental. So we both needed games, and I said, okay, well, let's play home and home. And then it was like, well, you want to come to our Christmas tournament? And he was like, okay, come to our Christmas tournament. So we ended up with 4 games on the schedule. And oh my gosh, they were up in you, forcing you one way with the ball, and athletic, and could shoot it. And he was a great coach. And it was like, oh my gosh, why did I schedule these guys so many times? And he actually reached out to me in the off season this year. He said, Coach, I want to talk to you about your offense and some of the things you did. He said, I thought you guys were really hard to guard. He wants to do some of the stuff so I've sent him a couple of documents and stuff. But yeah, heck yeah, it was a great rivalry.
Yes. And I remember one time
there. Oh, my bad, Bray.
Okay, I'll go then. Then I remember one time they had a big dude. I think his name's Jameson. he tried to dunk on Braxton. He almost did it. So I thought I would point that out real quick.
Oh, well, let's point out their little guard that almost dunked on Braden on that putback. And he would have dunked on him if he didn't cock it back all the way back. So
Nah,
Braden could have definitely got dunked on that game.
I try not to watch the other team much in warm-ups. I didn't really want to acknowledge him, but probably one of the best dunking shows in the warm-ups was Todd Central. I mean, they had a couple of guys that got it down pretty good.
Yeah, and their crowd, it was always deep, no matter what time it was. They had everyone there.
Especially that last time, dude. It was packed.
Crowd sat right behind our bench, and they were talking to me the whole time, and it wasn't welcome to Todd County things they were saying. It was a great memory.
I'll read off a few comments we have right here. Trey Tinsley talking about some of our great wins on the road. Jody said, great stuff tonight. Memories I'll never forget. Love all of those guys. I appreciate them. Ronald Scott said, you know what's better than beating Grayson and Butler County on their home floors? Nothing. There's nothing better in the world. And then, Glass is who you're talking about for Todd County. And he actually went on to average 27 a game this season. And he scored over 800.
Yeah, he went on.
Who's that?
Jamison Glass, the big he went on to score 800 this season.
Yeah, I actually coached against his uncle. His uncle played at Western. Played at Todd Central. He's down in Tennessee now. Greg Glass, and played at Western and played a lot like him. Good player. So a handful for sure.
Brad, I'll ask you this. It's kind of like a basic common knowledge sports question, but we've talked about going up against not common knowledge, but it's an opinion-based one. You talked about going up against a D1 guard like Brett, and then we talked about going up against a great big man like Jamison there. What's harder to stop, an elite guard or an elite big?
I think it depends on their ability to pass. You know, if you have somebody that's kind of a me player that wants to just get up shots, you know, if you can kind of double them and focus a lot of attention on them, if they're not a great passer, you know, you can kind of smother them a little bit and just get it out of their hands. So they're both hard. You know, when we doubled the post some, we didn't play against a lot of great post players, but somebody that if you send the double, they're going to hit a guy open. That makes it really tough.
Yeah. All right, so we'll kind of go off. I'll branch off that, and I do this thing called Quick Picks. It's where I ask, our guests, a bunch of questions, and it's kind of rapid fire in a sense. And I'll start off with Coach Brad here. This is your whole career we're going to talk about. So who are some guys that you have coached that you kind of got that idea, to start off the rip? These guys are leaders. These guys are great people. They can make an impact.
Guys that I've coached that were leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these two, that I don't want to leave them out. And, gosh, going way back, I mean, and the funny thing, and I'll try to be quick here, but the funny thing, their junior year, the senior class was complete opposite.
Yeah.
Complete opposite. I mean, very kind of quiet guys. And I didn't – their junior year, the seniors, I didn't have to put my hands over my ears when I went through the dressing room, what they might say, and stuff like that. Trace and Evan and guys like that, Noah. And so a lot different personality, but, I guess Trace was a good leader because Trace, the leaders are the guys that practice hard every day. Trace practiced hard every day, brought it every day and gave all he had. And, going back, coaching at Evans County, guys like Chad Jaggers, he was a all everything football player and baseball and basketball. Just he would break your nose in practice for a loose ball. And Brad Meredith, Coach Brad Meredith, I coached him. Brett Meredith coached him. They just came to compete every day, and that's what makes it fun. Guys, I think a lot of people talk the talk, but when you practice together every day, it's about the guys who walk the walk.
Yeah. All right. Next question. You've coached girls basketball too. You don't have to name. I'm not going to make you do a starting five, but name some of the best girls basketball players you have ever coached in your career.
Well, Mariah Robinson played for me in Ohio County. She started 3 years at Murray State. I think she was all conference winner. She was second team All-State. Julie Leach also at Ohio County. She was third team All-State post player. Maddie Stewart, my own coach, Maddie Stewart, played 4 years at Campbellsville. She was fantastic. Callie Gorby played 4 years at Asbury, and she's currently a college head coach, Midway, I think. There just a few there, and great memories from that. Kelsey Wilson from Edmonson County, she played at Grayson County for me there. Really strong player, but yeah, there's just a few.
I'll flop the question, I guess, because best boys players you've coached in your whole career.
Well, I got to start off with the big man in the middle, Mr. Jonathan Williams. He was, and these guys played with him actually a little bit pickup ball. He was a good player, 6'6" and solid as a rock, and a very unselfish, good player, smart player. These two guys, just complete players. It's fun to coach when you don't have to tell people everywhere they have to go with the ball. And these guys, they understood, read the defense and pass where we're open. Coach Brad Meredith was a really good point guard, quick, great athlete. Went on to do track and cross country, I think, at Western. Brett Meredith played for me, and outstanding player. So just to name a few.
This one might be difficult. Let's do 3 of the hardest teams that you have ever had to coach, girls and boys combined.
Well, with my girls team, we went to state tournament 3 times, and we played Louisville Butler, and they were the state champions. So that definitely them. They had Miss Basketball, and she went to Vandy, Tia Gibbs. We went to Scott County and played Scott County. They also had Miss Basketball, and she Rebecca Gray. She went to North Carolina. So that was pretty tough. I was trying to I've coached against 3 or 4 Miss Basketballs and 3 or 4 Mr. Basketballs. Bowling Green, when Josh Carrier played there, they were loaded. They were more than just Josh Carrier. They were very loaded. Mr. Williams was good friends with them, played against him. Brandon Stockton, Glasgow. We played Glasgow. Here's a little story for you. Glasgow won the Class A state championship, and Brandon Stockton was Mr. Basketball. And they had a celebration. They were in our district and had a celebration for the state championship against us, and had a big ceremony and handed rings out and stuff. And we beat them. Brian Davidson and had a good game, and Coach Meredith and Mr. Williams. So that was a pretty fun night.
I'll hit you with the last one. Actually, I think last time I had you on the show, you talked about some of the better coaches. But who's some of the best coaches you've gone against, boys and girls?
Mike Harper from Muhlenberg, he just retired. He and I think we went against each other in regional championships 6 times, and I think it was 3 and 3. A great guy, great friend. Tim Riley speaks for itself. Just a great coach. Girls wise, and we played state championship teams and stuff like that. But I've always been so impressed with the coaching around here. And when I got back in and coached boys, for those 2 years, the coaching was so good in the district. Nathan West at White Trinity just does a fantastic job. And Coach Dockery at Butler, they just won the region. Travis at Grayson does a good job. Everybody does their homework, and I guess that's when I saw it was time for me to get out. Just so hard going up against these guys every night.
All right, and let's continue with this kind of situation, but let's switch to Braxton and Braden here. Braxton, Braden, Braxton can answer first, Braden can answer first. It's up to y'all. I'll start off with this. Quick picks. Who is the best player that you think you have ever played against in high school basketball?
Braden, you can go first. I'm going to have to think.
Yeah, I'm going to have Ty's up there. I played against a few good kids in like AAU and like basketball camps, like D1 athletes and stuff. But I guess if we're talking like high school, Ty Price is up there. I think Lawson Rice is very underrated. He's a very good player. He can pass good. That Jackson Wise kid was pretty good for Taylor County. He was pretty good. Then Glass was pretty good. He was a battle. And I think that's about it. That I can name off the top of my head.
I think both of the guards for Davies County the first game of the year. Both of them,
yeah.
They were a good like dynamic duo. They were tough. And then someone who I just remembered, that guard for Southwestern.
Oh yes,
He made every three he took.
Levi something.
Yeah. And then you got Ty Lawson, both of them, they're tough. River, he was a force down low.
Yeah, he
And
was a
then
force.
you really had like the big three in Whitesville. You had Smith, Huff, and Hernandez. It seemed like they always had their best games versus us. Like I don't know what it was, but they played amazing versus us.
Yeah, they also took an hour halftime though one time against us.
Yeah, that's something I was talking to Joseph about. That kind of, especially when they came and played us at home when they were dancing at halftime, that kind of lit a
Yeah.
fire under us. Gave us
Made it
a
better.
bulletin. I forgot what it's called, something or whiteboard material, something like that.
Well, I asked about best player, and you guys mainly focused on the offensive side. Who's the best defenders you guys can remember that you played against? And it was a battle.
Xander Bass in practice.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna say Xander and Tyler.
And Tyler.
Going against them, it really helped games become easier because they're dogs.
That's the thing.
I tell you, who was really good defender was Nathan Hernandez. He was
Yeah.
sneaky. He was sneaky at getting his hands on passes and stuff. That's one that sticks out to me. People didn't press us a whole lot, so we didn't face a whole lot of like defenders that got hands on balls a lot. But Glass was a good shot blocker.
He was. Yeah.
So it was Lawson. He was a good defender that you always had to watch for if you drove.
Yeah, he can move pretty good too.
Yeah. Another one that's underrated is Luke Laughing for Butler County.
Oh yes.
He was a good defender. He was always he moved very well.
And then number 15 from what's that? Grayson County. What's his Haycraft?
Oh,
McCready
Landon Haycraft.
Yes, he was pretty good.
and McCready.
And
Yeah.
McCready, yeah.
I think that's probably the ones that stand out to me the most. Klein for McLean. He was a good defender.
Oh yes, and he hit everything if it was 10 foot and in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he dropped 20 on us when we played him at home.
This is my last one for the quick picks that I have, and it's for let's do all of y'all. I want you guys to name 2 or 3 of your best memories. It could be as a player, or for Brad, it can be. I mean, it could be as you being a player, Brad as a coach. What 2 of your best memories? We'll start with Brad. We'll go to Braden, and we'll end with Braxton.
I mean, one of mine is the district championship that we've talked about. There was so much build up to that, and and I've said this before, but the core of this team, they didn't win a game in middle school, and I think Mr. Alexander coached them in the 7th grade, and that was without Braxton, but at the same time, it's still the games weren't even close, and to go from that, I'm not sure if they had a great freshman year, season either, but to go from that to be the big dog in the district, and there was so much, there's just a build up that night in the gym, and so much of a culmination there, and everybody wanted it so bad and to get the job done. I mean, that's as good as it gets for me. And the first time I won a regional championship, as a coach, you never know if you're going to get to go to the state tournament, and that was 2005, and winning a regional championship and getting to cut down the nets and do that, play a state tournament. But nothing was any better than the old night at Evans County a couple years ago.
What about for you, Braden?
My favorite memory?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I got a few. I guess winning the district probably is my favorite. And then a funny memory I got is one time I was using the bathroom and Coach Johnson was talking crap about me and didn't think I was in there, and I heard him. That's a pretty funny one. That's a pretty good memory.
Do you remember what he said?
So let me tell it so it gets told right. So first round of this is a good one. First round of district, and Braden, dealing with Braden every day. Braden's a handful. Sometimes Braden's on the same page as everybody else, and sometimes you talk and Braden will say something that has nothing to do with what you just said. You know, it's ongoing, and we love each other, but it's a deal. So first round of the district, the most tense game ever against Grayson County. We have trouble scoring for a while. Then Braden kind of takes over and plays great, gets us through. We get a lead at the half, mainly because Braden was really playing well. So the team goes back out for the second half, and I think that the only people left in the dressing room are me and Coach Brad Meredith, and Braden is actually in the bathroom. So I said to Brad, I said, this is why I put up with all that crap from Braden, because this is how he plays in big games. And I hear a voice from the back go, I'm still in here, Coach. And so I said, I knew you were in here. I knew you were in here.
That's probably my favorite memory.
And I got another real quick Braden story, real quick. So Braden was injured much of his senior year. We haven't really talked about that, but he was injured. We played Owensboro Catholic, and I didn't know how bad it was. And honestly, I think Braden probably was in more pain than he admitted at the time as far as his back hurting. He fell really hard going for a loose ball. So he was out for some Christmas games and all that, and just hurting and walking funny and all that. So we played Owensboro Catholic without Braden, didn't play very well. And so Braden, after the game, he's walking across the floor and he's walking all stiff like a skeleton. Not even heel Tony, just walking all stiff across the floor, walking like he's 85 years old. And I told the coaches, I said, my God, look at him walk. He can't even walk. There's no telling how much. I said, Braden, can you not even walk him better than that? He said, oh, it's not that. He said, I just got some new shoes from Christmas and I'm trying not to get a crease in it.
I didn't have my crease protectors in there.
My favorite memories, probably, I mean, the obvious one's winning district. That's probably the top memory. And then when Coach Johnson did the gritty after a win, I forgot what win it was, but he hit the gritty, and that was probably the most hype I've ever seen in the locker room.
Then he hit the Serwinski.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that he hit the Serwinski. Yeah, that was a good one.
Just keep going.
Yeah, keep giving us some Coach Brad stories.
Here's another good one, Coach Johnson. When Braxton stomped on the logo at Logan County.
Yeah, we almost had to have the police to get us out of there, and it was a hard fought game. Really, they were very emotional and pushing us in the chest and all that, and we beat them, but they were fighting, trying to start fights. So with about 30 seconds left in the game, Braxton tells me, he said, Coach, when we beat them, I'm going to stomp their logo. And I thought he was just kidding and didn't think that much more about it. And he indeed stomped their logo at half court. Almost took the National Guard to get us out of there.
Well, I mean, I stayed true to my word.
Yeah.
I mean, I always did. I told you before the season we was going to win district. So,
Right.
I mean, that's one thing I can say. I kept my word. Also, that game, I remember I took a charge that they called a block, and then the dude threw the ball at me, and I threw it back at him, but I was the only one that got a tag.
Right.
And then I remember the dude fouled Trace hard in the middle of the game, and then Braden went and pinned him against the wall. I remember that. We had like 3 techs that night. There was also one that Tyler Anderson got when he scored, and then he handed the ball over or did something. Didn't he? I don't even know if he touched the ball. And they gave him a tech for a delay of game. So, I mean, that was a very emotional night. Then,
the one thing, and back to being serious, the one thing that I would take from these two guys and from that team is, and if I could share something with young players, is they were not afraid. These two guys were not afraid, and that team was not afraid. You could have said, you guys we're going to get on a bus and go play Lexington Catholic, go play whoever, and they would have said, let's go. They were not afraid of anybody you put and that's, and that you can't say that about a lot of kids and a lot of teams and all that. They weren't afraid of the situation. And for the end of the year there, I really wasn't super nervous about the games because I knew they would handle it and handle their business and not be intimidated by the situation.
Yeah, I think that even went. I think even in the locker room, like everyone knew, like we were never scared of anyone. We were never ducking anyone. It was always like we were ready for battle. And I think someone who really embraced that was Xander. Xander was always ready. And I mean, he even like he rubbed off on me because it's like, oh, he's ready to go. Well, I'm gonna be right there with him. Like that's
Xander
my
always
brother. That's
burned the
my teammate.
boats.
Yeah, burn the boats. Where did you get that from again, Coach?
Cortez when he landed in the Americas to conquer the Aztecs, they burned their boats where they couldn't retreat.
Yeah,
And Tyler Anderson was good at it too.
yeah. Tyler was really good at that too. I think because we had those shirts junior year, and I think that was another thing that really went into going into senior year. Like we really took that to heart. So it was just like, and that's something we talked about in the locker room. I remember, I think Tyler said something one time about we're burning the boats or something like that, and then Coach took it wrong. But that's
Probably.
just something we took into every game, no matter who it was.
I've got one for Brad really quick here from a fan. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're going to go a little bit longer. These guys look like they're having a little bit of fun. Chad Pierce wanted to ask you this, Brad. I'll pop it up on screen. What is Brad's best memory as a player, and who was some of the best players he has played against as a player?
Well, when I played in high school for Barron County, Edmonson County was a district rival. And some guys that I have gotten to be super good friends with, our superintendent, Brian Alexander, and Brian Browning, Scott Mello, who I see every day down at Saling's Grocery, and some of those guys, they're my age, and they were really good. And we were able to beat them for the district championship at Glasgow, and so I played on a team that won 20 games, and that was a good memory for me. And what was the other part?
Who was some of the best players you played against?
Best players. Those guys were good. Heck, it's been so long. I have a hard time remembering names. I played against Trey Turner for Warren Central. A couple of guys that played D1, and he played in the major leagues actually as a catcher. And Brian Alexander. I'll go with Brian Alexander. He was the best player.
Coach, what was the highest your career high in points?
34.
Yeah, I remember me and Braden was in a group chat with you, and you was like, whoever gets as closest to my career high gets first pick. And then I said like 20. And then you was like, really, Braxton? You thought that was my career high? I was like, look, Coach, I knew you were a pass first kind of guy, so I took it a different way.
Yep. I
Brad,
was.
I want to ask you this. It was before you coached Edmonson County, with these boys. But can you tell me a little bit about that 2019-2020 Little League Bucks team that you had? We would have won the playoffs even if it didn't get canceled. We won the regular season 8-1. You talk about that team?
Did that get canceled from COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, but the stupid rule that they had where you had to sit your players out a quarter. So my son Braden and Joseph, they were the dynamic duo, guard and post player inside, but they only got to play together half the game because of the stupid rules, and we couldn't get down the floor if one of them wasn't in. So, if we had gone a little bit more pick and roll, a little bit more slip action there, but Joseph was unstoppable by the goal, and also could shoot outside. And
is it true? Is it true he has the best jump shot form of all time?
Form was not great. It was a little bit behind his head, but loved the game. Loved the game. Probably Joseph Decker, as a Little Leaguer, probably disagreed with the referees more than any Little League player. He did not agree with any referee's call. And he was bigger than everybody else, so he got fouled a lot. They were hanging off of him, and so the Braden and Joseph in Little League, a dynamic duo. COVID canceled it, but we would have cut down some nets.
The amount of times I had to post up a man and I had hands in my pockets.
Absolutely.
Pull up my arms around it. I mean, I probably had 15 dislocated shoulders from getting my arms grabbed.
Absolutely.
He might have got that disagreeing with the refs from his coach. He might have
Yeah,
Right.
he
A lot of
influenced
stimulated from there.
it heavily.
I was a principal at the time and was not looking to be a little league basketball coach, and my wife made me.
I think it was worth it.
Funny.
Well, I'll ask you guys one more time. Do you guys have any more stories or any type of, things you want to share? I want to ask this. Actually, it came to my mind. My fourth period teacher, Miss Vincent, was talking about it the other day.
Oh no.
Coach Brad, is it true that Braden would, sometimes behave so badly in Miss Vincent's classes that, you would have to pay the room a visit?
She would ask me to stick my head in and kind of give him the coaching mean face, and she actually loved him. She loved having him. She had a name for him I can't remember.
Sweat hogs.
Sweat hogs. The sweat hogs. Well, that's a Welcome Back Cotter reference from back in the day, but they were kind of a little on the rowdy side and all that, so they kind of needed a coach's face to refocus them a little bit. But she ended up loving them. That is a fact. I had to stick my head in every once in a while.
That was
One
the funnest
story,
class of my life.
One story I got is versus Metcalf when me and Braden got into a disagreement because my man went down to double Braden, and then he looked me in the eyes and then shot it over two people. And then I told him, I was like, you got to pass that because you're going to get it right back if you're open. And then we just come to a disagreement on that. But we ended up had 18 and hit the game winner, falling. Andy got fouled, but they weren't good at the end of the game. But that was a team that was really good. That
Yeah.
they played really well as a team, especially.
I looked you off like Coach Johnson taught us to.
Oh yeah, look me off.
Ronald Scott Lindsay, he wanted to say, Coach never argued with the officials. He just told them why he was always right.
And
I really, in my later years, I really didn't, and I have officials that are great friends and I still text with and stuff, and those guys are trying to do their best. The times that I felt like an official was really out to get me and trying to, do me wrong, maybe one time out of 1,000. It's a hard job, and I watched the NBA play, guys taking contact and all that. I'm like, who in the world would want to be a referee? It's such a hard job.
Yeah.
That is.
Well, we
you
talked
do yell mean things at people's grandparents, though, Coach Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a lot of fan interaction tonight. We've got to tell a lot of great stories. We've been going on for an hour and 12 minutes. And the crazy thing is that we've stuck with, over 120 people the whole show in here live at one time. We covered everything about the 2022-2023 district championship season. We got to talk about Braxton, about going to college, how he's experienced Kishwaukee. And we got to talk about Braden, about how he's starting to become an old man.
Nice, man.
Well,
Just rotting away.
We have a lot of younger guys in here watching and a lot of people on the basketball team. Adam Coates said two really good Louisville fans on the screen, and Braden and Brad.
Oh, that's something I forgot. I remember senior year. Pretty sure, senior year when me and Coach got in an argument because
I think he froze.
Yeah, he's hitting a nice little pose right now. Thinking about that.
Oh,
Hey, we finally got rid of a really bad coach, so the Louisville fans are coming back out of hiding.
That's true.
Is Pat Kelsey the answer?
Do what?
Is Pat Kelsey the answer? I want to hear y'all's opinion.
He's got a heck of an opportunity following the worst coach that I've ever seen in my life.
yeah.
Lots of room to work with.
He has a really good energy about him.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, we got a lot of younger guys in here. Some of them who still, in my grade as sophomore, some of them as freshmen, some of them going into their senior season. I want all of you guys to kind of give them a piece of advice on, going into this next season, playing basketball, keeping your head high. We'll start once again, Coach Brad, go on to Braxton, and we'll finish with Braden this time.
Well, first of all, it's going to go by fast, and you can ask these guys. And I told them that when they played, you're going to look up and it's like it's over. What the heck happened? Where did it all go? Enjoy it. Enjoy every day. Enjoy every win. Work hard when you can because it's going to be over so fast. And just be unselfish. If you score 20 points a game and post great stats and never win a championship, it's nothing compared to working together with your brothers and winning a championship.
Mhm. I would say biggest thing is just play with confidence. And one thing that my dad told me this year is every game is a application to colleges, and that really stuck with me. And even even if you're not, you might have had an off game on like shooting wise, like you might not have shot that well, but that doesn't mean you can't dive on every loose ball, take charges, rebound, pass. Like there's so much more to the game than just scoring that people they overlook. But you gotta have it. Like that's something our team really did well. Is like no one was scared to dive on loose balls or take charges. Braden got one, so I know everyone else that's in the chat definitely can. So Braden got a
Sure.
charge. Also, shout out to Colton Lyons. He wanted me to shout him out.
I definitely think y'all need to stay close, text every day, hang out every once in a while, just as much as you can. Build a relationship for the future. Definitely stay in the lab. Lift weights 100%. Lift as much as you can.
Yeah,
Dribble. Get a ball in your hand as much as you can. And like Coach said, I mean, it goes by quick. After that first 10 games, it's like, boom, it's almost over. And yeah, the next 2 years, it's pretty exciting, man. Got some young talent.
mm-hmm.
Be fun to watch.
Got it.
And I give before we close, give a great shout out to Ben Gray, who was the
Yes.
weights class coach, and I asked him to get after these guys and told them it's hard when you're trying to practice hard and trying to strategize for games. It's hard to do that and then lift weights for another hour. So these guys being able to do that during school, and these two guys really they committed themselves to nutrition and their bodies and getting strong, and that was huge. We were a fit, strong team, and that's so important.
Yeah, and go hard in practice no matter what. You got to make
Yes.
when the practices are harder than the games, then the games are going to be easy. And really, that's something that stood out senior year, especially. Just it was so competitive every practice. Like every practice, somebody was bumping heads. Just competitiveness, but it never led to anything off the
No.
court. Like we were always brothers off the court.
And
But
then
on that court, if you're on the other team, you're
enemy.
you're good. Like you're trying to make them lose. Like no matter what happened, but off the court, we were always brothers.
And always be respectful to your coaches. Never make them in practice early because of you. That's the last thing I got. But still have a personality.
Be loyal. Be loyal to your
Yes.
teammates. Be loyal to your coaches. If there's outside noise criticizing your teammates and your coaches, block it out.
Mhm.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming in and tuning in tonight to this show. Thank you once again to these three you see on the screen beside me, Coach Brad, Braden Wall, and Braxton Highball. If you can, everyone after this, go ahead and share this live again so as many people can see this as possible. Let's get these numbers up. Let's get a lot of people being able to hear this interview. Go ahead and drop a follow, subscribe, whatever you want to. Follow these three guys on their social medias. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight.